People's Club of People's Club of Nigeria. People's Club Oh, Melukakuno. Ezebageko. People's Club Abonusa. Anabadabe. People's Club of Nigeria. Unyaziwa mume. People's Club of People's Club of Nigeria. Ezebageko. People's Club of Omelukopulo. People's Club of Ezebageko. Abonodoso kadinanunenu. Igirigara bukwanayyo. Oyobele mwana bayobe. National President, please try to see two men okay. Unamaki tuleka wana Nazareth. National President, the elements okay. National President, the elements okay. Keep it like about. After the shadow come watching the middle, I ain't no combo. You do like a bar, or no, I'm not, but you do so. Ever piece you want for? I'll be the college man of your man. Also, the one up on Ocha. You got your money to be going to the man who can get it. When you're never money on the mill. Ever piece you want for? Oh, no money so delay. The ain't you can I got you now. This is why I met this year's a man. Let's up for go one more for no make an echo. We're gonna let go. People's Club. National legal advisor, measure one of your toe. You cannot go on this Sunday. You will be a chicken. Love for bed, but no more but it is all. You will be a bed. I could not forget it in that my God. National law, someone for your mouth, but it is so. You just let it so now, people's Club. I believe in people's Club. Don't you go? I can't let go. I'm going to my knees. Let you go. Get it down, man. Urubaka. Let's all go one on for it. Back to the road. Back to the road. Back to the road. Back to the road. Ah, on your Mahudu back. My God, about so close. The champion of the champions. Oh, my God, oh, no, I'm seeing anywhere. This is what they pay. Let's go on a police. Malam, Matthew, Snake the Galley, Abadi the so. Jebolingo. Onyamane we wina wanine. Wasi simpasi. Siki okeke. Onu mekene. Isloyane. Ese no kompo. Ese chorama apalo. Isloyane. Simo kara. Oslamne barandiso konyama. Barista lawyer, I no money just so. Yes, I know what's up, yo. Wobi Lili. Asina kama dero bele no. Yamasi ogi. Onyamani so bele. Unu basile kasino. Aha. Wali na nemzekyo. Mwakipya, jibu wila tuwe. Wali na nemzekyo. Mwakipya, jibu wila tuwe. Onu kulo kumoje ya komatano. Masunu kumanu zobeda wa oso. Isi rabuna na madukia. Aboni ne tikulo kumane leke mwabya. Adagwa chiti na jesu. Ama malo ni amalo condition ni noa. Angwali le ngati hapo zima. Ila kibida kibya. Oliva nemsekyo. Olulelo.
Yes. Now we are getting into the program for today. I am so sorry. I came late. I had a lot of things going on today, so I had to take care of a whole lot. But here we are. Let me make sure all the mics are working good and everything is working fine before we dabble into it. Because we will dabble into it. Let me see how everything is going. Like I said, this channel is about business, about development, Pan-Africa business, about Pan-Africa development. That's what this channel is about. So we are going to make a difference. And I hope you come with me. Because the criteria that it takes to be somebody is not that much. It's not that much at all. It's not that much of a criteria to be somebody. But the question is, are you willing to be that person? Are you willing to be that person? Yeah, the volume is working good. Yes, I like this better. Yeah, the volume is working good. And here we are. So, okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All the volume is working fine. Everything is looking nice, and I think we're good to go. Today's discussion on this podcast is still about Onitsha development, because I'm going to tackle. That's what I want to be talking about: development in Onitsha, development in the eastern part, and also across Nigeria. Because the reason why I'm trying to do this, the reason why I have this in mind is because we can't be comfortable where we are. No, we definitely have to move forward. We have to move forward in life. We can't be stagnant as a people, and we can't be stagnant as a nation. I think we can do better. Yes, we can do better. We cannot be comfortable where we are. No, that comfort level is beginning to make me uncomfortable. So that is why I came up with the idea of starting this show. First, I started discussing business, and then and then I know that discussing business is one thing, but also you have to get your family in order. And as I got into the family discussion, I have to come back to the business because I don't want to, forget about the reason why this podcast started at the first place. This podcast is about business. Yes, we can't have a business if we don't have family. I totally get that. Sometimes I'm going to move force everything into one as I discuss. But you're going to be getting, we are going to be seeing me discuss family from time to time. But my main focus is business because a lot of channels out there talk about families, but very few channels talk about business. Uh, so my focus tonight is about Onitsha, still on the Onitsha topic, but now I'm trying to go away from the riverbank, which I know that we have discussed riverbank of Onitsha, but now I want to go mainly into the inner city, just like men looking out on this picture right here, we can see tale of two cities. Yeah, one of the city is actually Onitsha, the other one is New York. But if we look at the Onitsha, we can see how almost everything is in disorder. Buses are parked where they're not supposed to park. You see that those refuse in the middle of the road, and also minivans just not making the proper U-turn, and cars parked on the shoulder. No city, no road markings, to get vehicles to stay where they're supposed to stay for insurance purpose in case an accident. No pedestrian control. People are just everywhere. The whole thing is like no. This is total chaos, total disorder. But if you look at this, pedestrians are walking on pedestrian road, pedestrian crossing, markings on roads that will tell vehicles where to stop, roads not to, no, that's markings not to go beyond in order to interfere with pedestrians. Traffic lights, constant traffic lights, um, telling vehicle that's directing vehicles when to pass and when not to pass. And here you have high-rise buildings, and those are high-rise buildings. So with those high-rise, you can definitely see the advertisements. So this is a city, but I'm gonna also blow it up. I'm gonna go right here. So I'm gonna remove this because that way we can see more of it. So I'm gonna close that out. I'm gonna upload this right here. So right here, I'm gonna come here and show more of it so that way we can see more. Yeah. So you see it. So like I was showing, this is New York. So this gives you more exact view of what we're talking about. Like you see the road markings, you see the traffic lights, the signals. You see pedestrians walking on where pedestrians are supposed to walk. Occasionally interfering with the road, like this human being right here, and barriers that prevents vehicles from moving into construction lines or construction zones, and that is a huge building, tall buildings, and also advertising. Many high rises, multiple stores in line, shopping malls and stores and apartments and penthouses. This is a city life. And then you come over here. Now I'm gonna pull up Onitsha, and we're gonna come here. I'm just going straight into the whole thing right now because I don't really have time to go into explanation. Yeah, so now you see the Onitsha, like I said, you see that. So you see all this, you see chaos, 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 rufus, chaos everywhere, chaos everywhere. So like you zoom in, you see all that chaos, chaos everywhere, man. You see all this chaos. So I do believe that this is much long time ago. This is not current, but it's a little bit further than now. Because when looking at the buses, these are much more better buses that they used to have back in the days, like those Mercedes Benz. They're no longer around now. So where we are. So what I'm actually talking and saying basically is this. I'm gonna also play some video. What I'm saying basically is this. We cannot let a city look so tattered. It's just not a good thing. I also have some couple of things to pull before I can then play a video. So I gotta go a little bit into more modern Onitsha, more modern Onitsha, but still not where it's supposed to be, but a little bit better. Okay, I am going to go right here, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. Let me show you guys this. So this is the modern Onitsha right here. Let me see something real quick. I think I may have had an interference on my. Okay, nothing is interfering. Let me go back to here. Okay, so this is what we have right here. So this is more modern day Onitsha. Like you can see the roads a little bit, but they still have this is when people are not like this is like kind of on a dull day because on a busy day you're gonna have a lot of cars here. And another thing is that it's 3 lane, but look, no shoulder. The gutters are very exposed. That's the sewage are exposed, which means that vehicles can actually tumble into here, which they do. I've seen there are tankers that have tumbled. So this is too exposed for a city. And like I said, you see that there is no any high rise, there is no any city phone. Everything is blanketed, washed up buildings. Yeah. So if we come here, I think I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna take this off. Yes. So what we can look at also is to see how it just what I'm actually trying to show is this. I'm showing to see how today's Onitsha is actually is. Even is making a little progress, but the progress are not really far ahead. They are still behind because of lack of understanding of development, lack of development. So a lot of things are going on over there, like serious disconnect about how basic systems can work. So those are things that concern me, but those are things that I know can be done. Those are things that I know actually can be done because the state right now is really moving forward, trying to get some of their things together because it's been disappointing. Like, okay, going over here, let me go back to the picture that I had earlier. So this is what I had earlier, what I had on the thumbnail. Let me come back and dispose us to and bring that up. Okay. Okay. So going back here, so this is what I have. Tale of two cities. One look good, one looking good, one looking not too good. But the both pictures are old, 20 years, maybe 20 years plus back. I give both of them the benefit of that due to the vehicles that I. But then come over here. If you come here, you can see a whole lot of difference too. Not like whatever that one has. Okay, let's go over here. Like if you look at this right now, this is also Onitsha. This is it right there. So now they are actually constructing roads better than it was before. The drainage system is better than before. So they're making progress. But this is not good because they're supposed to have a big wedge right here, a big barrier, a barrier very big. They're not supposed to have people getting access, like, people crossing this express road. That is very dangerous. This is supposed to have a very big, like this sewage right here, supposed to have barriers on both sides to prevent vehicles from tumbling into it. In fact, a recent picture that I saw, there was a tanker that was hauling fuel that fell into this and it busted into flames and it was in Fino. So that's the thing that the state is supposed to be working on to prevent. So stuff like that is not good. Stuff like that are not good. You're not supposed to have those kind of things exposed to humans in cities like that. So, and but if you look at it, just like I'm saying, let's say if you go to like Dallas, for instance, I just showed you the express road. Let me just use like let's say 635. $635, 635 interstate. Okay. Come over here. I go to image. I pull up the image of 635. This is how roads are. Okay. I just do this image right here. Let me just look for something that can give me very good view of the city. Okay. That is one. Okay, I got this, but it's not giving me what I want. That is still not giving me what I want. That is not giving me what I want. So, what I'm trying to show is what an express road can look like, what an highway can actually look like, how roads can look like when it's done pretty good, pretty well designed. It does its thing. Okay, I can just use this as an example, not to keep my people waiting over there. So this right here shows you a lot. So I'm gonna go back over here and I'm gonna put this up. Okay. So I'm gonna go right here. So this, okay, I'm gonna share this screen right here. So this screen will tell you something about, okay, you see the difference. So if I have this, I can as well have this and this. Look at the two tail. This is Dallas, Texas. And then the other one is Onitsha. So you see Dallas and Onitsha. So this is Dallas. You see road signs. You can't see anybody, any human being walking here. There is no human interference at all. Nobody is allowed to be on this highway due to the speed at which vehicles travel. You're not allowed to be here. But then check this out. So when you go over here, you see human contact with highway. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. So what it does basically, it slows it slows vehicle flow. Just like yesterday when I was discussing with my friend that came up, I was gonna, if I had started early, who was gonna be here. But let me show you guys what we were actually discussing about yesterday. Um, so it's called. So I'm gonna show you because he was discussing something about Onitsha Park, about park. So in Nigeria they call it motor park. Okay. So when you look at these motor parks, right, you see a lot of interference in motor parks. I'm trying to show some of them. I'm trying to use the current ones, current motor parks, to demonstrate. Yeah, I think I found one, but it might not give me what I really want. Yeah, it can be very, very nasty. So some of this stuff, right? So those motor parks. So what they do basically is that the motor park is where people go and catch transportation to move from one part of the state to another, or maybe move from the eastern part or travel from the eastern part to Lagos. So when you get to this motor park, there is a lot of activities that go there. There are a lot of activities that go there. Things like hawking and people catching transport and so many kind of interference by customers and people. You know, it's just pretty disorganized. And the thing is that some of this disorganization has been some of these disorganizations have been going on for more than 40, 50 years. So nobody is even making that much effort to improve the transportation network, the movement of vehicles in and around of Onitsha and beyond Onitsha, even into other parts of Nigeria. It's like it's like the same old system that they've been doing. They're not making any change of stopping it. You see what I'm saying, right? So they don't make any change of stopping it. It's still the same old system, the same old thing going on. No any effort whatsoever. Like you see, You see, what do they call it? Vehicles that travel from Lagos to Onitsha. They, in some cases, they're going to park people and sardine people into it without any single remorse that what they're doing is not good, and the way vehicles are everywhere is not good, that they have to have their own separate park. Just like what do they call them? Like Greyhound, they have their own park, and all those like mega bus when they come. Like I will show, like in Dallas, they have this thing called Greyhound, right? So what happens is that Greyhound has its own park. So at that park, you don't have other companies there. It's only Greyhound, no any other company. So they are required to have their parking area, uh, their bus terminals, which is called terminal. So they have their bus terminal, and that bus terminal only has Greyhound there. So nobody else is allowed, no any other vehicle is allowed to park there, except if that vehicle is under contract with Greyhound. And all Greyhound buses have to be positioned in that building. And when it's time for them to go, they gotta go. Like they have to go. They have to go and they have to go. But you don't see any interference. Like buses coming together with Greyhound bus. You don't see anybody on the street, hacking people to come and join those buses. No, or to come and catch those buses to their destination. They don't do that. So that is organization. So things are organized the way they're supposed to run. So that's actually what we were having yesterday as a discussion. Because what the discussion yesterday centered was that Onitsha doesn't really have terminals where buses are supposed to stay. And that was true. That was true. So if you come over here, let me pull up this right now. Let's say I go over here. All right, let me share this screen again. So this is literally Greyhound, right? So let me share this screen now. So this is Greyhound. So this is Greyhound bus terminal. So the Greyhounds they pull inside here. This is where they are and they wait for customer right there. They don't stay on the street. You can't see these buses on the street. Okay. Then let me go pull up this real quick. So like based on what I showed you, you see there is no interference at all. You don't see anybody interfering with buses. Uh okay. You don't like I said, you don't see anybody interfering with buses. Buses are not supposed to be on the street. Buses are where they're supposed to be. Nobody at all. You don't have anyone hacking people, telling people, hey, you gotta go inside here. You gotta come catch my boss. Come catch my boss. No, you gotta catch my boss. No, they don't do that. To me, I was in that system when I was in Nigeria because I did a lot of artwork for those people in luxurious buses. But I knew that it was just too disorganized. I knew it was too disorganized. It was just too disorganized. There is no way. There is no way. Stuff like that has supposed to be. You can't have luxurious buses and you have all these touts, and the touts are running around trying to get people to catch the bus, and everyone is like trying to get their own. And sometimes they just hackle you straight into the bus. They will hackle you straight into the bus, and you can't do nothing. If you're trying to say something, they fight you. So these are the things that we're supposed to improve, that stop doing. Like I'm going to send you. Oh, I try to get this. Okay, this is a good picture for it. Like I'm going to show you this real quick. Okay. Yeah, this is one of a good one. So if you look at it right here, Okay. So this will actually help me to form my thoughts and make this conversation much more better. Okay, I'm gonna use this and this. So you see, this is on the street, interfering with traffic, but this is inside a terminal. So these people have their own terminal, or even when they don't have their own terminal, they might be on a bus stop. Yeah, that's in a bus terminal. Without only the people that will come inside that bus terminal are only travelers. Their family members are way outside. The travelers coming, but I got to show you something though. There is also an improvement, but improvement is not where it's supposed to be, because one thing about it is this, right? I like to be fair in my criticism. I like to be fair because it's good to be fair, especially be fair to the current that's to the current improvement. If people are not making improvement, let's talk about it. But when they are making improvement and you only showing the negative side of it, I don't think that's just. I don't think that is just. I think that is unjust. You have to be fair and truthful to people. You have to cover all balance and make it, you know, make it make it truthful. You cannot just tell stories and just live in lies. It's not good. It's not good for anyone. Not good for the state. Not good for people. You just have to be truthful and you tell people and say, "Hey, this is what we are doing, and this is what we're not doing." And I have to show you this because it's very necessary that I show you this. Like if you come over here, you can tell that there are improvements. Yeah, I gotta be honest too. There are improvements. So if you go to this, God is good, right? Okay, let me pull up this so that way people can see what I'm saying. Fair use, truth be told. Okay, okay, this is the bus terminal for gigm.com. It's called God is Good Motors. So this gigm.com, right? So what they do basically is that they actually have their own terminal. But this is the problem. They are in their at their terminal, right? They have these Mercedes buses. These are the Mercedes buses, right? So these Mercedes buses that they have actually come very close to the city. But whereas they were supposed to use these as where they should park those like two or three vehicles that are supposed to be leaving for the day are supposed to be right inside here. All these are supposed to be cleared of vehicles. Then they're supposed to buy a different building where they can park cars. Where no, where they can build, high-rise garage so that people can park their cars and then walk to say goodbye to family members. That is what they're supposed to have here. That's what it's supposed to be. And then if you go to let me go right here. Okay, if you go to this and this, right? Okay, let's see. So you see, this terminal and that terminal, they both have something in common. This and that both have something in common. They have their own terminal. But the difference between the two is that this is actually in in terminal bus stop. That's unloading dock or loading station. Whereas this, the loading station is outside. Although I do see some barriers, you see, that's a fence right there that shows that there. Okay, I can tell now there is no interference. There is no interference, which is good, which is good. Okay, okay, I take my words back. You see, I like to be fair. I like to be fair. The reason why over here they use big buses like this, which is supposed to be the way it is, instead of this, I will tell you because I was in this business kind of thing. In Nigeria, the roads are bad. The roads are bad. So those big buses need adequate roads to drive on. The road infrastructure has to be smooth because of their sheer size, their speed, and parts. Because when they speed and they have to brake so many times because of the potholes, guess what? It actually causes the owners of this transportation to have to change their parts often, sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis. They still make their profit, but their profits are dismal. Whereas a company like Greyhound, due to the road infrastructure in the United States, far less potholes on the highway. These vehicles can go for months before any part is changed because what they actually change most of the time is the tires. The tires are mostly changed because they have to be of good quality due to the safety of the passengers. But other than that, like you see the same big buses here, right? These are the same big buses, but these big buses, most of them are gone today. They're no longer here. Most of these big buses are gone. They don't exist anymore. Why? Because these big buses cannot withstand the potholes that they have to drive on, especially in the mid 2000s, 2010s. These buses were slowly disappearing as the owners of these buses began to switch to this. This is where they are now. Will those big buses come back? Yes, they will come back when the roads get bigger, better, and less pothole. So that's what my discussion on the bus terminal that we were discussing yesterday. Because when he brought up when Godlinger brought up the terminal issue of Onitsha, I knew where he was coming from because as a little kid with family members that owned those kind of transportation business, I knew what he was talking about, and I knew as a little kid it was very disgusting, even to me. I didn't like it. So this is what they had. And these buses, I tell you, they are flying machine. These are mostly Volvo and Mercedes. Like this one is a Mercedes bus. So just imagine the speed of these buses and what they have to go through on the highway because of, guess what, bad roads. And they are this high because of bad roads, so that they can withstand bad roads and without the engines being messed up, and then the bumpers being sometimes shattered by the depth of the potholes. But I'm glad things are changing. Like you see, these ones, they're not really as high as those ones because the roads are smooth. Less luggage to carry, less pothole to worry about. These buses travel at average of 75 miles per hour throughout their entire fleet. But whereas these travel at about 45 miles per hour due to slow down due to pothole. Pothole is the case. Pothole is mostly the case. So, but with this, it still hasn't helped the issue. But what it does basically is that they can actually come to a quicker stop and a quicker takeoff when they encounter potholes. That's the difference between this and the other one. Okay, I hope I'm able to analyze that bus terminal issue. But this is what if this is why infrastructure matters a lot. So yesterday we were discussing about that issue. But today I'm also going to come back and talk about this because I have a pamphlet that I'm working with. So today, the discussion of today is still going to be I'm going to discuss insurance companies today. Let me pull up my temp. So I'm going to discuss insurance today. The reason why I want to discuss insurance is this. Like I said earlier, there are many ways that our nature can improve its infrastructure. But this, I spoke earlier from yesterday, corporations that will call on nature riverbank headquarters. Look at this insurance company right here. Today's insurance. I'm going to discuss insurance. Insurance company, especially in the United States, is one of the biggest corporations in the US. And let me say this real quick. If you are on the chat and you want to join this discussion, let me drop the link. You don't have to come up, but you just have to come up to show me your face. And beside that, let's talk. If you want to join this conversation, I'm dropping the link right now. Please join the conversation. You don't have to be on camera throughout the conversation, but you just have to show me your face really quick and then come. Okay, I'm dropping the link. So this is the link for you to join the conversation. Like I said, you don't have to come up. So what I'm saying basically, like you can join the conversation. You don't have to come up, but you just have to show me yourself on the camera, like show me your face. But and then you can just turn off the camera and then, but just leave your speaker on so we can talk. So based on this, so we're talking about insurance, and on the insurance conversation, I remember if you were part of the discussion yesterday, I will go back to the Google Earth again. The Google Earth, I was able to demonstrate the views of the city, and I was able to show you what the cities look like between Onitsha and what do they call it, and New York. But one thing about insurance company, based on what I'm discussing right now, one thing about insurance company is this: insurance company is the backbone of a lot of companies, a lot of economies. I'm sorry, insurance companies, right? Backbone of a lot of economies, mostly in the West. So what happened is this: they are one of the largest employer. Let's talk about the benefit to the economy. They are one of the largest employer. They are one of the companies that have the highest profit. They are also one of the companies that pay a lot of liabilities. Let's be honest on that. And these insurance companies, the insurance doesn't stop by motor vehicle insurance. They also have healthcare insurance. They have dental. There are many types of insurance out there. Dental. There is family. There is financial insurance. So there are many types of insurance out there. But at the end of the day, one thing that we know for certain is that insurance company can bring a lot of money to a city. If you don't believe that, you are not serious. So I'm going to pull up here and go to insurance. I'm going to discuss this insurance and show you the view of the city of New York. Okay. So if you look at New York right now, this is Central Park, right? These high-rise buildings, this is Manhattan. So this New York right here is home to a lot of insurance companies. Most of these high-rises, right, that you see in New Jersey, that's Jersey City, that you see in New York, like Manhattan area, all these houses that you see, all these high-rises that you're looking at, this is New York, right? Some of them are as a result of one thing: insurance company. Insurance company have a lot of these buildings. A lot of these buildings are owned by insurance companies. That I can tell you for real. Insurance companies are one of the major reasons why some of these buildings are here. In fact, the largest owners of high rises in New York are insurance and banking, like AIG, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Geico. Many of them, Washington Mutual. In fact, some of them have financial institutions and insurance institutions. Just imagine how many million cars are in America, and each car, almost 90% of them have insurance. You see? And just imagine how much those insurance companies do make. They make 50 amount of money. These insurance companies, they do make a lot of money. That I'll tell you for sure. Those insurance companies do make a lot of money. So they are not out there out in the open doing nothing. They are actually big financial institutions that bring the bacon home to a lot of companies. But the thing is this, Nigeria as a country doesn't really have insurance companies that can become huge source of employment to its citizens. No, it doesn't. It doesn't really have one that much. Even the ones that have, actually, people complain that they don't even pay out. Like I said, a lot of these corporations right here, these are insurance companies. They are these companies, these high rises operate due to insurance and financial institutions. That's why they operate. And then also, I'm also going to discuss about, let me see, the next conversation will cover logistics. So for logistics, I'm going to cover it tomorrow. But for today, the reason why insurance company brings so much money to a city is this. Like I said, they are big time employers in the city. They bring a lot of job opportunity. In fact, some insurance companies have almost regional headquarters in major cities in the United States. So if you have a high powered insurance company in Nigeria, that means they will have they will have presence in major cities in Nigeria. Just imagine how much revenue that will bring to the coffers of those insurance companies. They, in turn, will contribute to the local economy because they're contributing to the job employment. Due to the fact they are contributing to the job employment, will also lead to them contributing to the local economy. And when they contribute to the local economy, the people that live in that, and when they contribute to the job, they will contribute to the local economy by spending money in the city where those workers reside. Let's say automobile insurance. Automobile insurance is a lucrative business because there are different mostly two types of automobile insurance. There is personal insurance and there is commercial insurance. Personal insurance, there is a lot of pool in it because not that many people have accidents per capita. Almost almost about 80%. I'm going to pull out the data when I get into more detail of it. Actually, about 80% of the people file claim every year. So, which means when you don't file claim, it's a whole lot of money that those insurance companies will take home. And when they take those money home, minus the expenditure, that means they get to pay their investors, and their investors will smile. One of the richest people in the United States are owners of insurance companies. So, what I'm trying to say, basically is this: insurance company will bring money to every economy. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter how you think about it. It doesn't matter what that's your view about it. But one thing that I do know for sure is that in every economy due to the claim and the claim to to loss ratio. That means, let's say if they are having claims of about 20%, which means 80% of claims and almost 80% of the insurance capital revenue pool, only about 20% of it is going towards insurance claims, right? That means that 80% of that 80%, um, of that 80%, right? You're going to have to subtract about, let's say, I don't want to get it wrong. Let me pull it up right here. I know, let me pull it up right here. I know it's, let me see real quick. Because I've gotten that starts before, but I don't want to like mess it up. Because one thing about insurance companies, sometimes they withhold those. You got to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig in order for you to get how much, because it's mostly secret. But I know I've been able to pull it up before. Yeah, you got to dig and dig and dig before you can be able to pull it up. It's usually very tough to pull those things up. Okay, so I know. Okay, so car insurance rates can go up 51% a year if you cause an accident. But what I'm trying to, yeah, they can go up significantly whenever you involve in an accident. They go up really really high. They go up a lot. Like I'm talking about a lot. They go up a lot. They go up significantly too much. But the thing is this, right? The claim that they make per year is usually not that bad compared to how much these companies make in profit. So their profit per year can be astonishingly good. Yeah, if you want, like I know I've come across that statistic somewhere before, but the thing is this, right? Yeah, yeah, prophetess faith. That's correct. The thing is that it's a company secret. They don't want that many people knowing about it, because now I've come across it. It usually they pay out their employees really, really good amount of money due to the profit that they make per year. Like they make significant amount of profit. They make significant amount of profit every year. So these insurance companies, right, that is on the automobile side. But the only place where the loss in insurance company are usually much more higher is on the healthcare. Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. On the healthcare is where the claims are usually high, but life insurance, car insurance, because I used to write insurance before. I used to write insurance back in 2010, 2012, 13. I tell you this, like I'm talking about third party insurance. Third party insurance, they don't really make that much money to the main insurance company. The third party, not the contractors, but the third party, right? Because what happened is that there are third party insurance. How the third party insurance work is this: you have something like Primerica. Primerica's are third party insurance. So when they write all this life insurance, annuity, and the rest of them, right? They will write it under a certain company's name. But and most of this third party insurance usually will sell you term life insurance. Because on term life insurance, when you hit certain age, right, you cannot renew your insurance, especially when you're the age, I think it's 65 or 70. You know, 55 or 60. You cannot renew your insurance. But that's what most of them will push you towards, because if you live up to 55, which they expect every most people, like almost 90% of their customer base to live beyond in 50 55, they take all that money. You see, all the single money that you paid towards, that's all your premium, right? It's gone. It's gone. That means most of these companies take almost 90% of the revenue that somebody made up until their 50 to 55 years. It's gone. So that is why I say, that is why when I worked for insurance company, I knew how profitable insurance company can be. But when you are under the main company like Geico, Washington Mutual, Liberty Mutual, Progressive, on those life insurance of theirs, even banks too, Bank of America, Chase Bank, their life insurance, right? Sometimes is tied to your financial portfolio. So what they mean is that if you do other life insurance that are not term life insurance, so what they do basically is that they can tie it to your retirement. You can cash out your life insurance, and when you cash out that life insurance, what you do basically is this, right? You can then pay back to that life insurance whenever you can, but at lower interest rate. And some of them, the yield to your insurance, right, can be as high as 12%. Yeah, it can be as high as 12%. Mhm. So, like I was saying, like I was saying, these are, so those life insurance, like like I can actually tell you what it is. They have the term life insurance, like I said. There is whole life insurance. There is universal life insurance. There is variable universal life insurance. But I gotta say this, right? I think let me talk about universal life insurance first. So, it's a type of insurance that has cash value life. It is sold primarily in the United States under the term of policy that excess of premium payment above the current case of cost of insurance is credited to the cash value of the policy. So you see what I'm saying? So even some insurance company in that case offer what they call hybrid policy known as a variable insurance. That's what I said that I'm going to also talk about. But you have to understand universal life insurance before you can then understand how variable life insurance work. Variable life insurance, I usually totally discourage customers from getting variable life insurance. The variable life insurance is, if you remember, I don't know how many of you were there during the stock market crash of 2008. The reason why a lot of people were underwater was because so many people, especially people under the subprime mortgage, took out loans for house purchase, because the initial calculation that was done during their purchase actually was misleading. And the reason why it was misleading was because at their time of close, the stock market was down, so interest rate was down. The very at their time of close, because what happened is that when you purchase a house, they do a pre-check on your credit to lock in the house. Then when you get through all the approval process and then pricing process and trying to negotiate the price of, that's the capital price, not thinking about the interest, because that's why some people, when they go buy a house, they think they know all that. They negotiate capital, but they don't negotiate interest. Then when they come back, they find out that, oh shoot, the house, what I thought I was going to pay here isn't the case. But this is why, because back in that 2004 through 2000. and to 2006. I would say 2002 through to 2003 through 2006, because there was a lot of money that was put into the system around 2003, 2004, 2005 to distract people from the Iraq war. So people had a lot of cash. Businesses were employers were offering employees high what they call salary. They were offering high salaries. So I'm talking about the middle class and upper middle class. So because middle class and upper middle class are known for their excessive expenditure, excessive purchase, buying things they don't need. But guess who was taking advantage of that was the real estate developers. So what they were doing at that moment was that they were giving these subprime people that were actually not even in the upper middle class, but lower middle class, people that were coming out of poverty. Lower middle class, actually, people coming out of poverty, first time graduates, people that just first time graduates with no financial discipline in their house. Mom was illiterate financially, dad wasn't even in the house, or sometimes dad was in the house, but he doesn't know anything about financial. Never knew nothing about financial. But what everybody was discussing, oh, transfer of wealth, transfer of wealth. I'm going to transfer my wealth to my son. I'm going to transfer my wealth to my daughter. And she is working at McDonald's. Guess what? They went to buy a house, working at McDonald's. She just got a teacher job. She just got a first paycheck as a teacher. She went out and bought a car, a brand new car. But now she wants a home to put in her name. Guess what happened? She wasn't qualified for the prime mortgage, but they got her qualified for the subprime, $600 a month with variable interest. That's right. That's right. That's right. What you said is right. That's right, prophetess. So what they did was they would then take this prime mortgage interest rate 2%, interest rate 5%, interest rate 7%. The first payment, probably the first whole year. Then 2006 hit. Guess what happened? Because it was variable interest. Boom. Everything went, all hell broke loose. 19%. That's what happened. 19% interest rate. Hit him right there. Very hurts. Somebody went from paying 5% to 19%, not knowing that what they were paying for, what they got into was variable interest rate. Because the real estate and the realtor told him or her that, oh, you don't worry about it. Your payment is small. Your payment is small. Don't worry about it. Look, you're just paying $600 a month. And her budget for her payment is $600 a month. That's what her paycheck tells her, or told her, or told him. That's what it is, $600 a month. And they were right there hoping that it's $600 a month. But now she has to pay $1,200 a month. $1,500 a month. It wasn't even in her budget. She makes $1,900 a month, or $2,000 a month. Oh, I'm just being, I'm just being reasonable here. But if I want to be shrewd and rude, she is making $1,100 a month or 1,200 because she thought her mortgage is going to be 600, but it's 1,200 or 1,100. Guess what happened? She can't pay her car note. She can't pay her electrical bill. She can't even afford to pay the mortgage. She can't even buy food. She can't even pay the homeowner's insurance. She can't even pay that. What happened? People began to skip rent mortgage or skip car insurance. So both one has to be paid this month, the other one has to be paid next month. So they keep going back and forth, and you got to buy the baby shoes because babies don't care. They don't know what is going on. Yeah, they did not know what was going on. Babies didn't. Babies are babies. They are innocent. So she has to forfeit one to pay the other. Then 2007 came. Some people are already 12 months behind on their mortgage. 12 months behind on their mortgage. Some already lost their car because car, you can't go more than 3 or 4 months behind on your car is gone. Now they can't go to work. Even when they can go to work, they have to call in sometimes because they can't get anybody that can drop them off. There was no Uber. There was no Lyft. There was no transportation. You call a taxi, it takes about 1 hour, 30 minutes before the taxi can come to your house. It wasn't the taxi's fault. There was not enough transportation for the demand. That's what it was. It wasn't the taxi's fault. You might call a taxi. All the taxis are all dispatched. So one has to be available to come pick you up and take you to work. That's what it was. But guess what? In 2007, it hit hard. By mid 2007, people began to lose their houses gradually. So what they were doing, they didn't want to, foreclose all the houses at the same time because it was going to overwhelm the system and crash the whole system. So they had to slowly start doing it. So they went by the people with the highest number of underwater mortgage, and then they began to foreclose those ones slowly. Then 2008 election started. By April of 2008, the market had begun to shake. They were covering it up. So that November 2nd can pass. They were waiting for November 2nd to pass. I remember that date. They were waiting, earnestly waiting, praying to God that November 2nd should come and pass. So they will break the news the next day. But guess what? In engineering, there is something called shear force or exerted force. When you have a container and that container is on top of let's say 4 legs or four pillars, and you pour water on that container or that bath or whatever it is, and the force that is exerted on those 4 supports exceed the strength of the support, what do you think is going to happen? The whole thing is going to buck. And if just one of them buck, all that needs to happen is just for one support to buck. As soon as that one support bucks, boom, everything comes. Here comes the whole water rushing out because the whole thing will collapse. That's what happened in 2008. By October of 2008, corporate America was going to the Secretary of Treasury, Henry Paulson, telling him that we can't wait till after November 2nd. You have to go to the people now, or we go to the people. As soon as those threats were made and Henry Paulson saw that he couldn't save the Republican Party, he went straight to the newspaper. First week of October, right there on camera, and we just had that breaking news, and I was watching it, and he told America the economy has collapsed. Everybody ran to their house. Businesses shut down in the middle of the afternoon. Everybody went home. The whole political class, everybody was in disarray. Everybody was in disarray. Everybody was in disarray. He hit, yeah, prophetess, he hit you really hard, right? He hit everybody really hard. I remember that day. I lost my job too. Everybody went home. Companies, people were fired the next day. People couldn't go back to work. I couldn't go back to work either because I didn't have a job that next day. So that is what variable interest can do. And that is why I tell people never go for variable universal life insurance. There is also group life insurance. Group life insurance is mostly for let's say if you have what do they call it? Uh let's say you have sorority, or you have you belong to a social club, or whatever group you belong to. You guys can all have that life insurance, right? You can all have that life insurance together, so that way, if anything happens to one of your group members, you guys can take that group life insurance and then pay for whatever thing that you have to pay. That's right, for whatever thing that you have to pay. So you just use that group life insurance and pay for that's for the, maybe you lost a member of that group. You take money from that group life insurance and give to the family member to take care of whatever they have to take for funeral expense, that this is coming from the group. Is a life insurance that group members can have. And also there is also accidental death and dismemberment, which means if you lose bones and get your head cut off and stuff, yeah, those accidental death and dismemberment life insurance can cover you if you die in an accident such as car crash. Yeah, that is what I'm saying. So if something happened, or maybe if that person was killed or dismembered and murmured in an accident, accidental death and dismemberment insurance also can cover that person. So it's part of you can get insurance for that. Yeah, but so those are, yeah, companies do issue that. So those are insurance that can cover. But there's also another insurance again that is very, very common right there, is also credit insurance. You can, like, if you have a credit card, right, you can actually insure your credit card for loss. Let's say if something happens to your credit card and then a third party or something uses your credit card and you're not aware of it, and then they charge all those heavy charges on your credit card due to your credit card insurance, you're going to get most of those money back. But that was back in the days, though, because most of the credit cards today do come with insurance. Almost all of them now come with insurance, but back in the day it was optional. If you lose if you get scammed, you gotta be paying your credit card. Nobody's gonna listen to you because you refuse to buy the insurance. But nowadays, you put it as part of your interest payment and other fees, so you don't get to see it, but you get to pay it. Yeah. Then survival life insurance is also very common, especially among higher earners, upper middle class and the rich. They not the wealthy. The wealthy don't get it. They don't buy insurance. They take it from you. They don't buy insurance because what happens is that the wealthy have such a huge amount of income. They have money already, so they already have different types of financial residual income, right, that coming to them that they don't even need the life insurance for. Yeah. So another life insurance again is mortgage life insurance. Some people that lost their house during those days were able to survive due to they have mortgage insurance that was already signed and it wasn't even expired or whatever, or maybe voided. So they were able to get those life insurance. They were able to get those insurance for their mortgage life insurance. But sometimes mortgage life insurance also is also something pretty good because let's assume, like one thing that also I like about mortgage life insurance is that is a form of insurance specifically assigned to protect a repayment mortgage. Let's assume right now if the policy holder were to die while the mortgage life insurance was in force, right? The policy would pay out a capital sum that will be just sufficient to repay the outstanding mortgage. That's one thing I like about mortgage life insurance is that if the owner of the house dies and then he has children, kids, little kids, still maybe like little kids that are still young, because one thing you don't want to do is to have your children lose the house that their dad or their mom bought. They want to be able to maintain that house even when their parents were gone. Because, like in Nigeria, where I'm from, right, houses are paid upfront most of the time. Sometimes people only finance their house only for 5 to 10 years. But 98% of the time, houses are already paid for before you even move in. So you never go, and there is no sales, there is no property tax. So you're never going to worry about losing your house. That is not the problem, except for people that use their house to they mortgage their house for some business stuff, or maybe borrowed from a bank to build a house initially, which is very rare. But now is a thing coming up, it's coming up a little bit now because of the aggressive real estate development. So when you have anything like aggressive real estate development, yes, you will have a situation whereby people will start buying houses that they cannot afford. And when you start buying houses that you cannot afford, there is a need that you gotta have to take mortgage, and then to back the mortgage, you have to get life insurance. So if anything were to happen, what the life insurance does basically is that it pays off the mortgage as long as the policy was still in force then. That means you didn't miss payments and then never paid for like a month or two, and then your policy became unenforced. Yeah, but as long as you make your payment, your policies are enforced. That is what actually happens. So I'm glad that I named all this insurance tonight. But the reason why I'm saying this, right, is because the reason why I'm saying this is this. When you, yeah, utility insurance does, rental insurance replaces pretty much everything. Yeah, rental insurance is, let's say right now, one thing about rental insurance is this, right? When you have a rental insurance, if you were to have water spill in your apartment or fire, it covers everything in your house, plus the mortgage company, the apartment management gets to use your insurance to get the value of their house paid to them. You know, they get to claim it from insurance, but that's if it's your fault. That's only if it's your fault. But if it's not your fault, you get to get every property that you have listed in that house. You have to list it down. You're not going to have the receipt, so you can make your claims because the receipt caught fire too, you know, or got damage in the water. So what happened is that you actually file your claim. I think in some what happened, you're not going to be filing $1 million, so you have to have a $1 million insurance to do that. So if you file your claim, they have a maximum claim that you can file. So in most cases, people will hit that maximum and exceed it because this is your dwelling. So in your dwelling, nobody knows how much cash you have there or how much cash you don't have, but there are other valuable things that can never be replaced. Then the replaceable ones, yes, you get to claim them, and sometimes it can be in the upper thousands. Yeah, excuse me. And another thing about furniture is that if you buy a furniture or whatever you buy in your house, the the price of it stays the same, even though you may have bought that in 10 years ago. If you buy, maybe you bought your TV $2,000 10 years ago, you can claim that your TV is still $2,000. They will pay it, you know. Except they ask you for the receipt, and then when you have the receipt, they're going to have to value for today's price. Which, if your house is fucked, is messed up, is messed up. You know, if your house is burnt, is burnt. If it's water damage, is water damage. So you got to go by what you claim, because they can't even tell you to go to the company that you bought it from to print out a receipt, because most companies don't keep receipt beyond 1 year. So after 12 calendar month, the receipt is out of the system. Yeah. So that is one thing that I'm talking about right here. So if you look at these aspects, these are New York thing, the New York thing that I'm talking about, right? So this New York right here, most of the companies here are, guess what I mean? They are insurance companies. And there is one other thing that I was also going to cover. It has to do with it's something that has to do with also insurance. But let me see what I was going to cover in that. I think I may have skipped something if I'm not mistaken. So what I was going to cover has to do with this what did they call it? I'm trying to remember the name. I'm trying to remember the name. But like, okay, let me just go back to what I was saying earlier. So this insurance thing that I'm talking about when it comes to Onitsha, that is one of the best ways that the city of Onitsha, like I said, can create a whole lot of jobs. So the city can create a lot of jobs by, guess what? By doing exactly what I said. By inviting corporations like insurance companies can come into the system. And this insurance company, when they are in the system, one thing that they can do is to create jobs, because insurance companies do create jobs. They do create jobs. They create it in huge number. They do create jobs. And also, the Onitsha area is also known for its vibrant location to the water. So, and also its population and per capita income. The per capita income is huge. I'm telling you this, the per capita income in Onitsha is huge, even though there are a lot of people that seemingly have low education, and the ones that have a high education don't really speak that much. They're more on the quiet side because of the influence that come from family members that have connections, you know. So it kind of interfere with them actually speaking their mind or trying to better the system, because one thing that I know about somebody with education is that they speak more or less, and people without education are very loud. That I know for sure. They can be very loud, and they are very vocal. And when they are vocal, they can also be very intimidating to folks with education. That is just what it is. But like I said, there is a lot of jobs that can be created. That a lot of jobs can be created in Onitsha environment through the insurance system. So let me go into this logistic. I would like to cover logistic tonight, because the reason why I would like to cover logistic is because logistic is actually the backbone of many economy. Logistic is the backbone of many economy. I don't think any company can function today without like the 21st century American market is as a result of logistics. Logistics is the 21st century American market. Amazon, eBay, even UPS from 20th century, FedEx from 20th century, they mostly blew up in the 21st century, especially in the last 4 years. They've been seemingly the backbone of this country in the trillions. And not only that, like I said, logistics, logistics is something that when I come to Nigeria and say logistics, it makes me cry. Because you know why? Nigeria has they have a lot to do with logistics. They have a lot of advantage. They have a lot of ways to cover logistics. They have a lot of way to develop their logistics. They have a whole lot of potential. Let me just put it this way. Let me use the word potential. That will help. Let me use the word potential. Because I gotta tell you, when I look at the number of ways that the country itself can do so many, that in fact can improve in so many angles, can improve in so many logistical I would say logistical capital investment, is just mind boggling. It's mind boggling. But it tells you so much about the way we as a country have not really done well in terms of logistics. But in that logistic, actually, Eastern Nigeria is the home of Nigerian logistics. I'm telling you for real. Is the home of Nigerian logistics because of the tie that that region has when it comes to companies like Ekene Dilichukwu, eBay to them. So many companies that have come and gone. So many companies that have come and gone. So right here I am. I'm pulling up logistic. So this is what we got. Let me not share this. Let me remove this one and pull up what I'm about to pull up. So this is what we got. This is it right here. This is logistics. You need a container. First, you need a seaport. You need your seaport. Then you have to bring the container into the seaport. You need an airport. Now you have to bring the cargo through the air. This is sea, and then this is land. These are the two land transportation. There are certain transportation you have to move through the railway system to far destinations that might need their cargo in huge numbers, because this right here, the road transportation, like the 18-wheelers, can carry 40 foot maximum. But the railway can carry 40 foot times 1,000 or 2,000 in a single trip. Whereas this can only carry 40 foot per trip. This can carry about 1,000 or 40 foot. That is 40,000. 40,000 more than this will. Or 1,000 more, I'm sorry. 1,000 more than this will. 1,000 more than this will, than this will. But check this out. It is the backbone of the economy. It is the backbone of the economy for a very long time now. It is the backbone of the economy. And it has been the backbone of the economy for a while. Why? Is because logistics is how we move our goods and services. Yeah, it is how we move our goods and services. Logistics. We can't move our goods and services without logistics. This is what it is. This is what it entails. But in Nigeria, we only have one of these functioning at the moment. That's a shame. We only have one of these right here, seaport, functioning at the moment. So when I talked about this seaport right here, I got to go back to Onitsha again. No, not Ibina. I got to let it. I got to let it roll. Let it roll. Then I'll change the location when it gets to here. Actually, this place does need this area where I just went right now. This place right now, actually, they have a seaport that is being constructed right here. From what I heard, there is a seaport coming right here, coming on board here. I heard about it. There's a seaport coming here. But if we go back to Onitsha, okay, this is the seaport that I was talking about the other day. This is it right here. This seaport right here, this is the Onitsha seaport. This seaport right here is bismal. It doesn't really function, hardly function. It doesn't really function at all. And one thing that I don't think if you guys can see it. Okay, let me go back and show you. And my bad, I am so sorry. Sorry that you're not seeing me, but my camera is going to come shortly because I know what happened. But don't worry, I'll keep doing this while my camera is coming back on. So, Everybody needed to survive. Logistics, transportation is the backbone of every economy. Transportation is the backbone of every economy. That's right. Amen. Oh, they grow a lot. Transportation system is the backbone of every economy. Yeah, I am going to continue on logistics tomorrow. So so we're gonna end the show for tonight, and I'm gonna go there in depth into logistics and the need for it, and how to make a mega city. That's tomorrow. I'm going to actually go into the development of how you can combine tech to logistic. But before I come back discussing tech and logistic, based on what I have, I think I may have to. Yeah. I can discuss. I think that's the same. I can discuss tech and logistics tomorrow. I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, I can discuss that tomorrow. I can actually do that. Yeah, I can discuss that tomorrow. That's not a problem at all. I can discuss that tomorrow. So thank you so much, guys, for listening, and I hope that everybody that paid attention tonight that you learned something. But tomorrow, I'll be here much earlier tomorrow, so that way more people can tune in and listen to what we have in mind to speak on. Yeah, let's make that tomorrow. Let's make it possible tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening, and may you guys have a good night. Bye bye.